and welcome back to the Cricket Carnival right here on NewsX. I'm Sanjeev Mukherjee. As far as the news agenda is concerned, it's a lip-smacking variety. We've got Bookies arrested from a team hotel, Cricket Australia trying to wean away its players from the IPL, whatnot, and Shahryar Khan, Kapil Dev literally saying just the opposite of each other. Plus, a cricket game is there to be played, 40 overs tonight, Mumbai versus Kings XI Punjab. Joining me right away, right at the top, the former Mumbai Ranji captain and a man who doesn't mince his words and is never scared to take a stance. Shishir Hatangadi, former Mumbai Ranji captain, is joining me, looking dapper, looking a little, I don't know, he's looking a little serious tonight. Perhaps he's heard what's on the agenda as far as the news flow is concerned on this episode. Shishir, I'm coming to you, Shishir, in just a bit. Let's take you through the top story tonight immediately. 3 suspected bookies arrested with rupees 40 lakhs from Kanpur's landmark hotel. The 2 IPL teams, the Gujarat Lions and Delhi Daredevils, were also staying in the same hotel, and a police investigation is underway regarding the issue. It's important to remember it's close to just about 4 years since that fateful evening in Mumbai when the former Indian fast bowler S. Ishant along with 2 others were picked up by the Mumbai police, which in turn stirred a hornet's nest and led to the massive breakout of the IPL spot fixing scam. Let me bring Shishir into this right away. Shishir, it's a familiar script, something which we are familiar with. The moment the IPL comes, there's some controversy or the other. But this is one controversy which we are very averse to. And it's a little disappointing that even after so much of security, the new rules and regulations in place, bookies or alleged bookies or be it suspected bookies are still being able to find their way to a team hotel.
Yes, and I'm not surprised, Sanjeev. This is something that, the IPL actually is, in a sense, if you want to look at the negatives, it is pretty much responsible because of the way the cricket is played, because of the fast pace, because of the amount of people that, decide to hedge their bets on this format of the game. And, when it broke last time, we were wondering whether they would be able to eradicate it. Obviously, we know when there is intent to buy people to get involved, then this is never going to end. You can only be vigilant in terms of administration and in the security to ensure that, you minimize it. But to say that you can eradicate it or, this whole menace of betting and, and bookies is just not possible. I think I'm not surprised about it, but I'm disappointed. And the fact that it's happened during the IPL doesn't come as a surprise.
Yeah, it doesn't come as a surprise. And, the moment the IPL comes on, more or less, let's be fair, Shishir, to the IPL also that more than 2 out of every 3 media network actually raises a stink on the IPL for good, bad or ugly, whatever the story might be in their possession or not. But however, let's now first listen into the police reaction after they arrested these 3 bookies with 40 lakh plus in cash. Let's listen in, and then I'm going to come back to you with another stirring question. Let's listen into the reaction first.
SHO कोतवाली और क्राइम ब्रांच पुलिस द्वारा होटल लैंडमार्क के अंदर जाकर के रूम नंबर 1733 से 3 व्यक्तियों को गिरफ्तारी की गई है। रूम की सर्च की गई तो 4 मोबाइल मिले, जिनमें से 2 मोबाइल नयन शाह के थे, 1 मोबाइल विकास का था और 1 मोबाइल रमेश का था। और इनके पास में से टोटल 4,90,000 रुपए की नगद रिकवरी रूम के लॉकर से हुई है।
Right, so Shishir, nothing seems to have changed as far as, the particular facets of the IPL is concerned. I'm not saying this means that the IPL is corrupt, that there is corruption, but the fact that there are questions being asked and the fact that, we just cannot say that unfortunately these things happen. If bookies are allowed into team hotels, they're staying in the team hotels, there certainly calls for an investigation, doesn't it, at the outset? Because like it or not, the first 7-8 years of the IPL, when there was no trouble as such as corruption cases are concerned, there were only speculation, still questions were being asked.
And questions will be asked even now, considering that the IPL has their own anti-corruption team and, the briefing to the players on the do's and don'ts. These are all things that are carried out, as a matter of habit by the anti-corruption. But to find bookies in the same hotel raises questions, as you rightly said, and it questions the security, it questions the intent of people. Are there any loopholes in the system that people are exploiting? Are there people involved in within the system? Otherwise, how can you get bookies staying in the same hotel? I mean, you can probably monitor everyone who comes into the hotel. I know how difficult it is to meet my colleagues and friends if I want to have a cup of tea with them if I have to get into a hotel. So this is something that one needs to look at very seriously, and obviously something will come out of this as it did in the last IPL when a hornet's nest was opened up, and this is something that one needs to look at, because I think the BCCI and the COA have too much on their plate, but this cannot be ignored, Sanjeev. This is probably the reason why all the troubles of...
Yeah, I believe we'll try and get the link back with Shishir Hattangadi, but we are staying on with this story, a very disturbing story, as we've just watched. If we can get the shots of those and listen into the police reaction yet again. Now, this is a story which might cause a lot of consternation as far as the BCCI is concerned. We can put those shots of those bookies up on the screens immediately as I speak. 3 bookies arrested with 40 lakh rupees from literally the same hotel, and that's what bothers people. It's the same hotel in which the teams were staying. The Gujarat Lions and the Delhi Daredevils were also staying in the same hotel, and a police investigation is underway. Let's listen in now again to the police officer who arrested the 3 bookies.
SHO कोतवाली और क्राइम ब्रांच पुलिस द्वारा होटल लैंडमार्क के अंदर जाकर के रूम नंबर 1733 से 3 व्यक्तियों को गिरफ्तारी की गई है। रूम की सर्च की गई तो 4 मोबाइल मिले, जिनमें से 2 मोबाइल नयन शाह के थे, 1 मोबाइल विकास का था और 1 मोबाइल रमेश का था। और इनके पास में से टोटल 4,90,000 रुपए की नगद रिकवरी रूम के लॉकर से हुई है।
Right, we are trying to sort out the video link with Shishir Hattangadi, but I believe he's with me on the phone line. Shishir, just one final quick word. It's always, it's always pertinent to say that the BCCI has loads on their plate. So does the COA, and the COA is in fact having a tough time. If people are to understand, the Committee of Administration having a tough time in handling all that is wrong within the BCCI. But this particular problem, this particular issue, the good that it has cropped up suddenly in the bang in the middle of the IPL, this also needs to be looked into very seriously, Shishir, doesn't it?
Oh, it should be on the top of that laundry list, Sanjeev, for the simple fact that, we were with all that took place in the years gone by, we were beginning to believe that, this has been, uprooted from basic grassroots level of betting and match fixing. But it's evident that because it didn't come in the eye line, it has been and it could be a part of the system even today, and that is something that we have every reason to worry about, because the moment you start questioning mistakes on the field of play because of exterior and ulterior motives, it takes the zing out of T20 cricket or any format of the game. You start questioning not skill, but you start questioning intent, and that is something as a cricket lover or Indian cricket lovers don't want at this stage. They'd rather be commenting on lack of skill or lack of ability rather than the intent behind issues, and it creates a doubt, and as they say, Caesar's wife must be above suspicion, and in this case we don't know what is happening.
Yeah, in this case, we do not know what's happening. All right, let's hang on there, Shishir. We are still trying to fix the video line, but I believe he'll be with us on the phone till we do that. Let's move on to the next story, and that's also something which could spell a lot of trouble for the BCCI. And that's an embattled board could have more trouble in store with a potentially worrying move by Cricket Australia in the works, one that is set to impact the IPL. Now, the Australian board is believed to have offered multi-year contracts to its top cricketers in an apparent move to wean them away from the IPL. Now, this is interesting. The Sydney Morning Herald has reported that Steve Smith, David Warner, Mitchell Starc, Josh Hazlewood and Pat Cummins, among others, were offered 3-year deals on the prerequisite that they sit out of the IPL. While the likes of Smith and Warner made more than $1 million a year in the IPL, and that's dollars I'm talking about, it would be interesting to see what the Australian board would offer as a significant compensation if they are to indeed wrest away their players, top players from the IPL. So Shishir, double trouble literally for the BCCI. You've got bookies arrested by the cops, paraded in front of the media, 40 lakhs in cash out there. One doesn't know whether they are demonetized notes or not. On the other hand, Cricket Australia, after South Africa decided to pull the plug in a certain way. In fact, South Africa has written a troubling letter to the BCCI saying that if you do not commit to a touring South Africa, our players will not play in the IPL 2018. And now, Cricket Australia, they have approached their players who are currently in India playing the IPL, approached them with multi-million-dollar contracts for 3 years on the basis that we'll give you these contracts if you sit out of the IPL. How does the BCCI cope with this, Shishir?
Oh, it's a very difficult situation, Sanjeev, to cope with, because I think there could be two reasons for doing this. One is, of course, Shylock wants his pound of flesh, and every board is now looking to be a Shylock, because either they have realized that the international players, Australians and South Africans, add a lot of value to the IPL, because you'll find that there are 3 Australian captains in the IPL, and of course some key players. But the issue is not only the money, it could be, the fact that every board is looking at it saying that, okay, we are releasing our players for the IPL. How about looking at us and compensating us? That could be just, the start of a negotiation, because I'm not sure any of these boards would be able to offer the kind of money or in terms of enlarged contracts to each player at this stage, just to keep them away from the IPL.
Yeah.
The intent is obviously to say, okay, we have the right to pull them out.
Right.
But if you are able to look at what you can do for us, then obviously we'll look at it differently. So I think it's the start of another long process of negotiation and deliberation between boards and the BCCI,
right,
knowing fully well that this is a golden goose that they need to cash on.
Right, but Shishir, who doesn't like an interesting yarn? Who doesn't like a lovely conspiracy theory or a story? And this one completely smacks of conspiracy theory, Shishir. And both you and me are past masters at reveling and enjoying the good yarns, the good conspiracy theories. Tell me one thing. Does it not also sound strikingly frightening that possibly the Indian narrative that regards the IPL is perhaps facing a crunch time? It's regardless of the fact that the COA is doing a fantastic job to put the BCCI back on track, but to the outside world, it's like the BCCI has been smashed to smithereens by India's apex court, and this is the time every board wants its pound of flesh. They have suffered at the hands of the BCCI. Now they want to pay you back in the same coin. Possibly this is also a signal to that. Especially when you're around.
Yes, you have. But what you have actually said in no uncertain terms is that when you get somebody on the mat, make sure that you crush him so hard he doesn't get up. Obviously, India has had their moments in the sun in the ICC, the Indian Cricket Board. But at the moment, you will see, and we've all seen that we are getting badgered from every end, and this is a time for the other boards to also say, okay, so if you're making the money through the IPL, how about looking at us? No different from any old story where you says, in Gujarati there's a saying, Maru Shu. In Marathi they say, Maza Chai. Australians say, what's in it for me, mate? So it's all simple. This is the way it operates. And I think the boards have realized that, if there is a cash cow, we deserve to be a part of it, because we are releasing so many of our players to add value and bring in revenue for a major tournament like the IPL. Yes, the international players matter, but I think the BCCI should really respect the fact that it's the Indian Cricket League, Indian Premier League, and the foreigners only add value to it. They don't bring in the revenue that other boards might expect that they do. It's an Indian league. It's the packaging of the league that makes it so prominent, and not so much the involvement of so many other boards.
Right, as they say, India is a country of jugaad, and whether you like it or not, that's what it looks like as far as the IPL is concerned. Before I move on, it's good to see Kishore Bhimani. I finally have him live, connected live after a lot of behind the scenes happening. But Kishore, why should I waste the opportunity? The story I was discussing, I want a quick update from you before I move on ahead with the story. Cricket Australia has approached its star players like a David Warner and Stephen Smith, who earn more than $1 million a year in IPL, offering them the lucre of multi-year contracts, 3-year contracts worth more than $1 million, based on the condition that they will not play the IPL. How do you, what do you make of it, Kishore?
Right on target, trying to do what they are doing. If you look at it from their point of view, from the Australian point of view, or the English point of view, or the South African point of view, just look at it this way. Your big players are going into a tournament which generates astronomical money. I'm not saying it's bad.
Yeah.
It's a fantastic Indian franchise. It generates a lot of money. It generates a lot of other things, good trades and everything. Now, they look at it this way. Not only do they have to accept this, but they have to adjust their own. They have to say that you can't attend the camp, you have to be in time. Okay, I'll be there 2 days before. I mean, we have the thing of Lasik Malinga, we have the West Indian players, the Sri Lankan. It's always a compromise for them. This is the first real serious reaction. When they are saying that, look, this has gone far enough. Why don't we, if money is the main cause, why can't we offer them money and keep them home? True. Probably have our own leagues, probably have our own coaching camps, probably have our own training facilities and so on. I think this is the thing, and we have to see it from their point of view.
That's right, Kishore. And would you also not agree with me, perhaps, as I was just discussing with Shishir, be it a conspiracy theory angle or a good yarn, the fact is that the BCCI is literally on its knees, and that's primarily because the Supreme Court decided to crack the whip, and now we have this committee of administrators who are calling the shots. Perhaps the other boards like Cricket Australia or even Cricket South Africa, we all know the sort of letter they have written to BCCI asking for a pre-commitment to tour their country, otherwise they pull out of the IPL next year. Perhaps they are sensing blood here. They are going in for the kill, knowing that the BCCI is on its knees. They cannot take us on all these issues, and this is the right time to strike the hammer, Kishore.
Yeah, well, look at it this way. In every dispensation, say the Australian board, I have been associated with enough tours to Australia to have met all the right people.
Correct.
And I do believe there are people who are anti the IPL. There are people who are anti the players making millions. The others say that they have to be within the discipline of Cricket Australia, just like they should be under the discipline of ECB or Cricket South Africa. Now, there's always, I have met people in South Africa. I know that even in the current dispensation, I remember in the days of Ali Bakar and Joe Pamensky and some of those people, Gerard Majola. Now, all these people were never on the same page. Some of them admitted, okay, we'll let you go. Other people said, well, I don't think what is happening is good. Cricket is becoming not only commercialized, but cricket is becoming a bit of a circus. Now, this is one set of people saying. You don't have to agree with them. Even in India, we've had both sides. So this is what it's all about, really.
Correct. This is what it's all about. What a spectacle to actually have two of the people, or rather two of the faces, and we're proud to present you right here on NewsX, Shishir Hatangadi and Kishore Bhimani, each in his own right, two very fine, sharp speakers. And more often than not, you do not find people who walk the talk or who can actually take on the truth and talk their minds. We have two of them in Shishir and Kishore. We get back to them in just a bit. We move on from this story and to another one. And I'll ask both Shishir and Kishore to listen in carefully. Now, this is what Kapil Dev, maybe earlier in the day, he saw his own lookalike, waxy lookalike. Kapil Dev is waxed. So he's got a waxed up version of himself in Madame Tussauds right here in New Delhi. There you can see Kapil on the screens. He goes up, he looks at himself, literally he looks at himself. He's pretty impressed if you see the smile, because Kapil Dev rarely smiles that much as far as the media glare is concerned. And then, yes, that's the shot, the famous shot from India's early 80s campaigns all across the world, when Kapil literally led India single-handedly to many of those exploits. And he's also remembering his action. What a great visual there for all the shutterbugs out there. But moments after that, Kapil Dev comes out, and then when he's confronted by the media as to whether India should play Pakistan or not, Kapil speaks his mind. And then, listen in carefully to what Shahryar Khan, the former diplomat and somebody who's working closely with the PCB, has to say. Listen in, then we come back with Shishir and Kishore.
It's unfair to even talk about that. I think it's more important is leave it to the government And people like us should not even talk about that. Us sports people want to play, and the government policy come before sports or before anybody else. And I would say whatever the government policy is, we should not even question that, and we should just go with it.
हम तो तैयार हैं इंडिया में खेलने, हालांकि वहाँ बड़े सिक्योरिटी थ्रेट्स है हमारे लिए, लेकिन हम तैयार हैं। अगर वो कहते हैं कि आप हमारे यहाँ खेलिए, मगर हम इसलिए भी तैयार हैं, इसके लिए भी तैयार हैं कि हम किसी थर्ड कंट्री में उनसे खेल लें, लेकिन थर्ड कंट्री में अग्री तो करें खेलने से, वो अग्री नहीं करते।
I want a quick reaction from both Kishore Bhimani and Shishir Hatangadi. Shahryar Khan saying, "Hum to taiyar hai," reminds you of "Hum Taiyar Hai," that famous song from Amitabh Bachchan's movie Hum. But, you know, what is Shahryar Khan talking about? Why is he so desperate? And Kishore, I see that big smile on your face. You know, if this had been a political show, it's a very politicized situation. We all know what's going on. Pakistan is in violation of the international border at the LOC. Day after day, we know what the dastardly acts they're committing against Indian civilians and members of the Indian army. And yet, we have a former diplomat who's literally on his knees saying, "Hum to taiyar hai." What's your answer? Kishore first.
संजीव, I'd say हम भी तैयार हैं, लेकिन माहौल तैयार नहीं है. What has happened is, just think of it. Think of today the feeling in this country. I was in the minority who said sports and politics shouldn't mix. This is not sports and politics.
Correct.
This is sports and humanity. What is being done by the Pakistanis on the border is inhuman. And even people like us who are apologists for Pakistan cricket, I have covered 9 series in Pakistan since 1978. I love that country. But somebody somewhere in the middle has cursed it, ruined it, caused these terrorist operations and so on. And the mahal is ruined. What's a hum bhi taiyar hai? I would like to see, I have known these people like Zahir, Imran,
Right.
Miadad, Mudassar Nazar. They've all been personal friends. They're great. They were great cricketers. So are today's Shoaib Malik and company.
Right.
But what have their country done? That's all.
Yeah, sport has to take a backseat perhaps some point of time or the other, and that's a troubling question. Beautifully put there by Kishore, and I'm sure Shishir is ready with nice words too. But Shishir, it's a difficult choice while we talk about this, but the fact is that yes, bilateral cricket we are not having, but the moment the BCCI decided to send a team to the Champions Trophy, India has to play Pakistan there, no? Don't we?
Yeah, they do. But the fact is that Pakistan, the board needs money. You see, he said hum tayar hai, but he forgot to say hum kadke bhi hai. It's very important for India to play. Doesn't play them. Where is the money going to come from? Where is the television rights going to come from? So even if it means playing in a third country, Mr. Shahryar Khan, with due respect, and I respect the gentleman very much, I've met him a couple of times.
Yeah.
He knows there is a PNL and there is a balance sheet of the PCB, which isn't very healthy at this stage. So, you know, he's not looking at it from any other aspect but from the fact that he has to bring Pakistan cricket at least the monetarily above board. They are in the red, and that is something only playing India
Right.
will help. But at the moment, as Kishore Das says, the mahal, the environment isn't right to be playing.
The environment isn't right, and on one hand, the kangaroo courts of Pakistan military want to hang Kulbhushan Jadhav without a proper trial, without furnishing any evidence in the public domain. On the other hand, a former diplomat and somebody who's still closely linked with the, I believe, with the military and the government as well, Shahryar Khan says, "Hum to taiyar hai, mahol banne ke liye, khelne ke liye." Wonderful. What life gets you to do, what cricket also gets you to do. However, moving back to cricket, Shreyas Iyer, remember, 96, what a knock. He helped Zahid Khan-led Delhi Daredevils recover after early blows to beat Team Gujarat by 2 wickets. Shreyas was also the player of the day in yesterday's game. Earlier, Suresh Raina led Gujarat, posted a total of 195 for 5 in 20 overs after Aaron Finch scored a gutsy 69-run knock. Now, Delhi had chosen to bowl in the dead rubber with both teams already out of the playoff race. Right, let's now take you through the points table. This is the most important thing before we move on to anything else. The best player of the day, the Manan Sharma, 2 for 24 of his 3 overs, literally doing a star turn there for his team. Now let's now preview the game. We have very little time because we had so much of news that finally we ran out of time a little bit. It's match number 51, which is to be played in the majestic Wankhede Stadium, where hosts Mumbai Indians face the Glenn Maxwell-led team Punjab, or Kings XI Punjab, and of course owned and chaired by Preeti Zinta, among others. The table toppers Mumbai are playing extremely well in this season's IPL, with the 9 wins out of all the 12 matches they've played so far. The team is already through to the playoffs and will definitely try to end their remaining matches by keeping their pole position. Punjab, on the other hand, it's a do-or-die situation. They'll have to win all their remaining matches. And as you can see, the points table, Punjab still trailing the Sunrisers Hyderabad by 3 points, although they have a game in hand. But the Pune Super Giants, same number of games, 12 games, 16 points. So it's a do-or-die situation for Kings XI Punjab. Let's get quickly to our guests. I know we have very little time. Shishir and Kishore, if I can have see both of you back on screen. Shishir, to you first. Very little time left, but still we have to talk about the cricketainment which is going to happen. How do you see this one? Must-win situation for the Kings XI Punjab. Mumbai already, you're loving the situation they are in, and they love the sea of blue which comes out at the Wankhede, and you've been a part of it yourself a number of times. How do you set this game up right now?
Well, it's a kal ho na ho game for the Kings, because if Preeti Zinta doesn't ask her boys to sing kal ho na ho, it's over. It's over. This is the do or die. It's now or never. I'm not going to sing Elvis Presley, but this is now or never. And the main thing is Glenn Maxwell, Hashim Amla have to make a serious contribution. This is Mumbai's fortress. You know, this is like getting into Shivaji's bastion and trying to finish him. It won't happen so easily. Mumbai is comfortable with that sea of blue. There's too much pressure on the opposition, and it's important for bowlers like Sandeep Sharma, who's a genuine swinger of the ball, to get those early wickets. Otherwise, it will be kal ho, not ho.
Kal ho, na ho. Naho, Kalho. Shishir has just stopped. You know, suddenly for a moment I thought the satellite link had frozen because Shishir stopped right in the middle of his line. All right, Kishore Bhimani, what's your repartee to Shishir Atangadi? Kings XI Punjab, they have been playing well, and Hashim Amla has been had a pretty good IPL this time.
Well, I'd like to put it this way. It's a battle against Punjab's desperation and survival against Bombay's perhaps complacency. Is it not possible that we've seen it happen with football teams like Chelsea and Manchester United? Once they make it year after year, and they relax just a little bit. Will it happen to Bombay? Will they say, oh, we're resting on our laurels, we are there? Not that Rohit will let them. Rohit will say, I want you to try doubly well. But it has to creep in. That desperation, that will to survive, that scramble may not be there. I think the only chance Glenn Maxwell and company have is if Bombay slip up on their own turf and have too much vada pav rather than good fielding.
Well, the time for vada pav is definitely gone, because as we speak, they're out on the field, and perhaps the 11s are already out, and the game is about to start at any point of time. On that note, two fantastic wordsmiths, Shishir Atangadi, Kishore Bhimani, always a pleasure. Look at us. In the news center here in Noida, we're connecting to Shishir in Ahmedabad and Kishore in Kolkata. Multi-city program. This is Cricket Carnival. That's all the time we have. News and updates continue right here on NewsX. Stay right here.
It's a good delivery, full of length. That's gone for 6 runs.